Hi all and welcome back. And my muse for today, because I've been writing and as I do, when I write, I get a lot of thoughts coming through, a lot of feelings, and a lot of understanding or understanding of my own personal journey. And I really want to share this one because those of you that have known me for years, I've been on many journeys and that's what my life is, and I'm not making excuses for it. I've been there, but one of the biggest journeys I ever went on was a few years ago. I dropped everything I'd understood about myself and knew about myself for years, my intuition, my telepathy, my clairvoyancy, everything. I just dropped it all. I started reading the Bible, and without even really understanding the Bible and Jesus's wisdom, I just threw everything out. Considering myself evil for what I'd done, I sent a text out to say I'm no longer doing my work. I'd apologised to people for leading them down what I believed to be a dark path through meditation and the work I had been doing with people. I am a kinesiologist, but I was also doing meditation groups, and I was also doing what I called shamanic work, which I use that term lightly because I'm not a shaman and I don't claim to be. So the work was that I would sit with my client and go into a meditation with them and be able to talk them through their journey. I could see their life, where they'd been stuck, their traumas, and walk them through on this beautiful journey. It was always filled with love and light to heal them so they could move forward in life with freedom away from that trauma, and that they wouldn't be stuck in it. It would take them so they could see it in a different light. And I loved doing that work. It was very different than kinesiology, but the same because it was still very intuitive work, and which anyone who's intuitive knows that, well, we've all got that ability. It's just some of us use it more often, so the skill becomes stronger. Like anything you practice becomes more your everyday practice. So what I realised today, after having a nice conversation with a very beautiful being, is that it's normal. It's normal to have telepathy. It is normal to be intuitive, and women's intuition, I mean, all those things have been spoken about for years, but we write it off as woo-woo. It's only for special people to have. And if you're Christian-based, it can be almost feared that you're doing something evil. Well, it was for me, yeah? And the way that I read the Bible very briefly, I listened to some people, Doreen Virtue, I'm going to say it out loud, anyway, felt very, when I look back, I go, oh, I think I was very deceived at that time. I believe so. And I wanted to share just one story with you of intuition. And this goes back many years ago. My eldest son, I didn't know he had a girlfriend. I presumed I could hear him chatting on the phone at the time. And I went out with a friend of mine one night, and I looked at this girl who was waitressing at this place we went to. And I said to my friend, I think that's my son's girlfriend. And she said, have you met her? And I said, no, I just feel it's her. And she said, that's a weird thing to say. And I said, I know. But I've got a feeling, a strong feeling, it's her. Never seen this girl in my life before. Needless to say, my son has now been married to her for a very long time, and they have two beautiful children. That's normal. I had considered that through my time of throwing it all away. Even those things, I had thrown the baby out with the bath water. Yes, the baby out with the bath water. And I just had that epiphany today, really strong. It's normal to have telepathy. It is normal to know something. And just know it, not believe it, not think about it, not contemplate it, but have that knowing. I knew that girl was my son's girlfriend. I didn't even question how I knew. I just knew. I've got a million stories like this, as I'm sure all of you have. And over the years, I just practiced that when I was working with people in close proximity and seeing clients. That just grew and grew and got stronger and stronger, that someone would walk into the room and I'd know exactly why they're there. Now I've started working again with people because I have forgiven myself for all that I've been through, and not that I even needed to do that. I just needed to know that the journey I'd been on was absolutely perfect, and not to always look back and go, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have given it all away. Well, I did, for whatever purpose that was, which I know for myself what it was. I needed to be there, I needed to go there, I needed to reboot myself and not have the same feelings about things I did back then. Trusting and knowing. When I work with people now, I will still do the same thing. I will know what they're there for before they walk in. I'll have something written down to share with them. It's not woo-woo. Woo-woo is when you make it weird and wacky and extend on that and use it against what it should be used for. When you're using your knowledge to hurt others or to not trust the process. But when you're in the process and you're trusting it and you work with love, and you always work from divine source, which is God, that the highest of all source of our creator, right? When we go through that system, and it's always with love and wanting the best for people, how can that be bad? There is nothing bad in that. So that's where I'm really at today, and I'm so glad to be able to share this with you guys and say out loud, practice your intuition, practice your telepathy, particularly because we don't know when we might need that. Yeah? Systems shut down and we're relying on this thing called a phone, and the system shuts down and we need to contact people the good old-fashioned way. Yeah? Sending out your thoughts and receiving thoughts back. There's nothing woo-woo in that. Anyway, my muse for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.